violence on the streets of Chicago. As this YouTube video shows, a fight outside of a club suddenly erupts in gunfire. Thankfully, no one is shot, but Crime Watch Daily is on the scene in the Windy City, where it seems tragedy has affected almost every corner.
When he came home, he got shot.
Her brother was killed by gun violence.
We lost a lot of good brothers on this block right here.
A lot of lives. Right
a lot of lives lost right here.
Now we're following a new gang that's trying to take over corner by corner, block by block. But this is not your typical street gang.
They made my job easier.
This gang's goal is to eradicate the cycle of killing plaguing their city.
So yeah, I mean, y'all good with me.
This is Chico Tillman.
Chico, tell me about your story.
I grew up in the west side of Chicago in the Austin area. I did pretty good at school and high school, enlisted in the Air National Guard. After successfully completing 3 years of the Air National Guard, however, my life kind of took a turn. I got caught up in selling drugs and involved in gang activity, which eventually resulted in me serving 16 years and 3 months in prison.
Life after prison was a difficult adjustment, but then he learned about a bold new program looking for people like him, one with the goal as lofty as its name, to cure violence.
Well, we just checking on y'all, making sure y'all straight.
How did you get hooked up with Cure Violence?
I had a friend of mine introduce me to Ceasefire or Cure Violence, Ceasefire, Illinois, and I went back to school. I got my bachelor's degree, got my master's degree in inner city studies, and now I'm in the PhD program at UIC in criminology, law, and justice studies.
For Chico, the program has been a life changer. But how does it actually stop the violence in the streets? Just ask the man who started it all, an epidemiologist with zero background in crime.
So I'm an infectious disease doctor, just trained in a normal medical school. I spent 10 years working on epidemics like tuberculosis and cholera.
How did you make the correlation between fighting medical epidemics to reducing violence?
I started to look at the charts and the graphs and just started to kind of look at it scientifically.
And what he found was that the violence seemed to be spreading in much the same way as other deadly contagious diseases.
It became clear that the main predictor of a violent event was that there was another violent event that happened before it, and that is the way an infectious disease behaves. So I said, oh my God, this is really looking like a contagious infectious disease, and so formed Cure Violence then.
Now, instead of looking at the problem as a legal issue that requires more policing, Cure Violence treats it as a public health issue, sending in healthcare workers called violence interrupters to stop small conflicts from spreading. People like Kobe Williams.
Kobe, what is an interrupter?
An interrupter is a mediator, basically, to me. It's a person who get out here in the community, who have relationships in the community, and who stop and shooting and killing on the front end before something is happening. People reach out to the interrupters because they know we good at what we do.
Kobe, whose own father was murdered when he was just 11, believes their preventative approach can be more effective at stopping crime than current models. And a study by the CDC seems to support the claim. But for the straight truth,
What's up, homie? What's going on? What you up to?
look no further than the streets.
It really does make a difference, because you got to have somebody that came from that walk, and Kobe, he came from that walk with us, he done been out here with us since we was kids, so for him to come back and show us change, it give us a belief that we can change, so it helps a lot.
And it's the same for team members all over the city.
This is Jerusha Hodge, one of our great outreach workers in the community of South Shore.
People call me Rue on the streets.
Rue has meant the world to Ceasefire. One of our most violent months was January, when there were 4 fatalities, and it was a gang war going on, and Rue stepped in, and she mediated the conflict, and since the peace agreement, there has been no more loss of life between those two groups.
This is more than just a job for Rue. It's a way to avenge the past.
How'd you get hooked up with Cure Violence?
Actually, my daughter died in the streets of Chicago. She died a violent death, and my life kind of spiraled out of control. I had basically given up on life. Cure Violence really motivated me to do something with my life, and now I'm trying to do good things. I feel good giving back. I really do.
The program is not without its detractors, but it's hard to argue with the team's results.
The data on this shows that they're virtually 100% at stopping events. Even when there has been a murder, they can stop knock-on events at this high rate. Cure Violence can reliably get 40 or 50% drops in shootings and killings in a very short period of time. And there's several neighborhoods now that have gone more than a year, even up to 2 years, with no killings at all, that were very, very dangerous neighborhoods. So I think when we start to shift ourselves towards thinking about the approach right, we can actually eradicate violence the way we've eradicated a lot of other contagious problems.
For the most part, brothers can get with stop shooting and killing. You know what I'm saying? They don't really want to be going down that path all the time.
Where we come from, we got to do something, man, because this violence got to stop.